Margaret Koolman of Soul Astrology. So this new moon's in Aquarius and making a beautiful contact with Uranus, which was so missing at last new moon. Uranus rules Aquarius, so it's as though the essence of this next month has to do with understanding what true freedom is about. As long as we feel driven from inside or from circumstances or other people or the need to survive, as long as we feel driven, we're not free. Freedom contains the ability to accept things as they are, even if they are not what you would prefer. Just because things feel uncomfortable, it doesn't mean that they have to be changed. There are many things we can do something about. What we need is the discrimination to be able to tell the difference between those and the things we can't change. Virgo is the sign that enables that discrimination, and delightfully we've got Mars in Virgo. So the driving force, we can use that energy to help us make useful decisions for ourselves. Mars in the chart at 23 degrees Virgo, on the brink of going backwards, or appearing to go backwards, making a lovely connection, that blue line, to Mercury, so trine Mercury, meaning that in fact our communications, our thought processes, our movement are actually in harmony with that Mars. Mars in the body would be the solar plexus, where our drives come from, our unconscious survival drives, our motivations that we're not necessarily aware of. Mercury trining the Mars suggests that we might become a little more aware of them during this coming month. And perhaps through desiring to do what works, Mercury being in Capricorn, we may make strides towards becoming wiser in our choices. The retrograde movement of any planet suggests a slowing down in the automatic charge forwards and perhaps contemplating movements. With Mars being retrograde, this could be very frustrating in the sense that we may feel we can't achieve the things that we desire. There's all sorts of things holding us back. But if we regard this pause in our forward movement as a perfect time to reorient our goals, to reorganize our lives so that the foundations are more supportive to forward movement, then our next steps will be more secure. Another aspect in the chart which tells almost the same story but with a slightly different flavour is Jupiter opposing Saturn. This has been getting closer and closer over the last month, but then perhaps more recently, just the last few days, starting to pull away as Jupiter goes forwards through Taurus. But the feeling when Jupiter is opposite Saturn is that the expansive sense of possibilities, opportunities for moving along the paths that we would choose, feel as though circumstances themselves make us anxious, or other people put ideas and criticisms in the way. So what could feel like full-hearted encouragement becomes tainted. This opposition is doubly squared by the sun and moon. So it's possible that when we've had enough of the struggle between these two poles, the forward and the cautious, we just cut out, do our own thing, take a break. And that's where we discover the freedom, where the freedom lies. From this position of taking a break, we can look back at what it was we were doing in the struggle and maybe see how much of it is self-inflicted how much is just our insistence on doing things the way we want, or the way we planned last year how it would be, rather than allowing ourselves to adapt to the changes. Once we can see that, it's up to us to make the shift in attitude. This opposition between Jupiter and Saturn is also trined and sextiled by Neptune and Chiron, suggesting how the struggle can be dealt with when we remain actually involved in it rather than taking a break. Always Neptune suggests tuning in to broader, more spiritual perspective. I usually use the word spiritual for Neptune, but I know that one can equally look towards the artistic. So it could be that there are opportunities here for being really creative with our solutions to that struggle. And the struggle that I'm speaking of is between what we would like to achieve and how we need to take account of other people and the circumstances within which we make our achievements. Neptune is on the brink of moving into its own sign. Chiron has been in advance of it. The healing of the spiritual view, the opening of the world of art, music, performance, to express the totality of human experience. By which I mean how, although it seems that each one of us feels and expresses very individually, that each individual part of experience, of human experience, is part of the wholeness of human experience, which we can also contact. Pisces ruling the sea, which washes the sand clean at every tide change, and withdraws, leaving the clean sand for us to write on once again. The ebb and flow of life, the ebb and flow of emotions, the ebb and flow of our relationships. Venus is moving through Pisces this month. A soft empathy with where other people may be, very much encouraged. And a beautiful thing that I've noticed about Venus in Pisces in individual charts, and maybe for all of us while it's going through Pisces in the sky, is the ability to recognize love in any form. Venus in each of the other signs is the expression of love in a particular style, in the style of that sign. Pisces, having no boundaries, is not hindered by the expectation of a particular style. It's able to give love in any situation and recognize love when given from any person. So let's be prepared to pause this month. As we move forward naturally in life, as every day follows every other day, we move forwards, let's just be prepared to examine what we really need, particularly in practical things. A very good time, this retrograde Mars connecting to Mercury, for clearing out the junk. I'm going to find myself saying this quite a lot, I think, because over the next months, because as Mars retrogrades, it spends a long time in one sign. So we're going to have it in Virgo with us for quite a while. It will finally get to Libra in early July. So that's a nice lot of months to do this smoothing out, clearing the rubbish from the corners, moving things around to see what will be a more efficient way of having things. And above all, perhaps, continually checking this month where we trap ourselves by our expectations, our assumptions, the oughts and shoulds that we insist on clinging to, and see how much it's possible to free the heart, to be open to accept things just as they are, acceptance being the beginning of real appreciation. The contemplation follows. As you focus your eyes on the screen, become aware of your peripheral vision. Widen your conscious awareness, like a wide-angle lens, taking in the whole view. Imagine that this exercise actually widens your perspective on life. Focus on the experience of living your life and widen your view to include your life's context. To see all this clearly, you will need to step back from it. And you may be afraid of what is behind you. All that is behind you is fear. In truth, you are safe. You lose nothing by stepping back, and you gain a view that will astound you with its complexity and previously hidden depths. You will feel compassion for the protagonists and relief for yourself. And at last you will be able to step in close again and hug the people to your heart. For all we need is love.